Hello, and welcome to the last and final round of the Last Chance Qualifier here at WARMACHINE Weekend. I am Pil Wagani, your host, and I can't do that to Lyle Lowry's name because they both start with L.
They both start with L. I'm Lyle Lowry, and I'm an American hero, as you can see on your screen.
And hashtag value.
Your hashtag value.
That is my Twitter handle. It's actually not. But today our game is going to be versus Jake Wilstrup, all the way from the United Kingdom, I believe.
The Grand Old Duke of York.
Oh my. Wow. That is quite a specific title. Versus David Smith from Texas.
And David Smith played on the stream in our last round.
And he played on the stream yesterday.
And yesterday.
This is his third stream game of the LCQ.
And Jake Wilstrup played on the stream yesterday, too.
Yes. Brilliant. So here are our players here. Jake has chosen to play Haley 3, which is in the Gravedigger Steam Force, which is a very common sighting for her. And Jake has a lot of experience with this list. So let's run it down right quick.
Sure, so he's got, like you said, the Gravedigger's Theme Force. He is using Haley 3, and the battle group has an Ironclad and Thorn. And he's also got Finn, Hanson Hitch, a Patrol Dog, Ragman, 2 Trench Busters, Alexia, and the Risen. Trencher Commandos, a minimum unit with Commando Officer. The Express Team, and a minimum infantry, Trencher Infantry Team with 2 Rifle Grenadiers, and a max unit of Trencher Long Gunners with the Officer.
So I really like this list, and what I personally like about it is the Long Gunners, of course, are fantastic. They're a common inclusion in there, but I think they just do so much, right? Like, they have the excellent Trencher stats, the Rat 6 base. If they aim, they get to make 2 shots each. That's fantastic. And then with their Officer, they can reroll their damage rolls. So it's just like a really consistently damaging unit. So I really, really like that. Of course, you have the Trencher Infantry because they can create a Cloud Wall with Haley 3, who gives them reposition 3. So they can walk up, use their clouds, back on out of there. And then I really like the Ironclad here because a lot of people kind of forego the Ironclad for like a Hunter or other like kind of ranged jacks here. But I think the Ironclad gives this list a pretty good counterpunch option that's kind of hiding behind all these trenchers and stuff. So I really, really like that here. And then David Smith is playing Thagrosh 1, the same list that he's been playing the past 2 rounds that he was on the stream for. Thagrosh 1, a Blightbringer Golab. He has Amok as well. A Warmonger Warchief, 2 Hellmouths, 3 units of Warmongers, one of which has Gorag Rotten-Eye on it. So we've seen a lot of games with this list. I was honestly a little skeptical with it at the beginning of the tournament because I'm like, I don't know, I think I would want some Chosen and stuff in there.
Right.
But these Warmongers have been doing a lot of work, so I'm excited to see how this goes.
Very successful with the list.
Very, very successful. So I'm excited to see how these trenchers stand up to all these Warmongers. Generally speaking, I think Warmongers are not great into shooting, and there's quite a bit of guns over here on the Signar side.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Let's take a look at the scenario.
Absolutely. We were playing standoff here. We got 2 circle zones, 1 on either side, 1 rectangle towards each player, which we usually call their zone, and then each one has their own objective in it as well. Just as a refresher, units score circles, battle group and battle engines score rectangles, and of course warcasters or warlocks can score anything they want.
Anything they want.
And then your fist is how you score the objective.
Correct.
You go and you walk over there and you punch theirs.
Smash it to death.
Good to go. So here we go. We've got our advanced deploy down, coming down for David over here. Figuring out where he wants these Hellmouths to go. That building is well placed for David there. It looks like he's got a forest on the other side as well, 1 for each Hellmouth. So presumably, I think David is going to probably try and play Scenario. Because I don't think these trenchers are going to really be super aggressive into these zones. So he might be able to clear them out fairly easily. So these Hellmouths will be excellent at contesting the zones to make sure that Jake doesn't score. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's not deploying the Hellmouths maybe a little closer to the middle. So like instead of here, like maybe here, and then you can get a tentacle in this zone. And what that can do is it can contest this zone, which this game could go super long and attrition-y, much like David's last game. So if he does that, he can contest this zone fairly easily.
Right.
And maybe this one's close enough to do that. Like maybe it can put its tentacle right here. And what that'll do is once again stop Jake from scoring his own zone on David's turn. And David can give him a hard time contesting this zone here. So maybe that's something to think about as we go through this. I do think David with the first turn is going to get pretty aggressive with his runs. He's probably going to end up with a lot of his Warmongers about there. His Blightbringer is going to come right down the middle. Cloud's not such a big deal here. Blightbringer can see through that. The Warmongers cannot, however, so possibly still relevant there.
Right.
And then I think the Trenchers, so these are the Long Gunners down here, I believe, because they don't have advanced deploy. So they're going to come up here, try and hold down this zone. This is a forest, I think, I would imagine. So I'm not really sure where this Long Gunners are going to go unless it's run into this forest, right? Because if they can't see through that, they can't see through this. There's not a lot of, like, shooting angles here, right?
Right.
Like, they may have been better served over here. So we'll see how that goes. That might be a hill. I'm not sure. Tony, can you check and see what kind of terrain that is for us so that we can know for sure?
Good guy, Tony.
Okay, so yes, we have confirmation from our table judge that both of these are forests. So this deployment seems a little strange to me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the plan here is. These guys have such long range. I feel like they could have or should have deployed over here. So we'll see how that ends up working for Jake.
But I mean, they can spend a turn running to 3 inches to the edge of that forest,
Sure.
and then
Like if they run into this forest right here, right, and then the Warmongers are right here, like I don't know. I guess I'd like to be able to walk up and shoot on turn 1 for my 14 inches because these guys. I mean, I guess if they get vengeance, they can run to a
yeah.
GG.
I mean, there's definitely. It looks like there's nothing they can do on their first turn for sure.
I don't
But
know.
all the Warmongers are medium-sized bases, so he doesn't have to worry about blocking his own line of sight by being a second line behind his own guys.
That is true. That is definitely true. So I think David's going to be pushing for scenario pretty hard. And I think Jake's just going to try and kill everything.
And Jake may be able to kill everything.
That is how a lot of his games have been going. And I think he's an excellent player. I've been watching some of his non-streamed games. And he's got his order of activations down. He's very quick on his feet. Like he can think very, very quickly. So he doesn't take a lot of time sort of going into the tank every turn. And that's really important when you're a Haley 3 player because this caster is incredibly complicated. There's just a lot happening every turn.
Yeah.
So being able to quickly execute your turns is very, very, very important. Blightbringer's doing its normal thing. Dragon's Fire, it's just running up there. Kind of as we expected. It's just kind of going to sit there for the rest of the game would be my guess. Make sure that it doesn't die, at least in the early game. And then just shoots as much as it can.
Right.
I do love it when a Blightbringer gets to aim. It always feels so good. I'm like, yes.
And Dave's been able to aim with it a lot because he usually sets it up in position and it doesn't move for the rest of the game. And it's
Or it'll move on like the last turn or something, right?
Yeah.
So
Just throwing buffs and shooting stuff.
that should be a T-shirt. It's like a picture of a Blightbringer throwing buffs, shooting stuff on the bottom. That would be fantastic. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah. We're going to talk to Dallas with that shirt later. I would buy that shirt for sure.
Yeah, I'd wear that shirt.
Last time I commentated on one of David's games, I talked a lot about Hellmouth Tentacles, and 1, how to position them, and 2, how to deal with them. I think that these Hellmouth Tentacles are probably going to play pretty conservatively. I see no reason to really run them forward. There's not like very many great targets for them to pull in or anything. You're not going to get any attacks on turn 1. So I think he's if I had to guess, like this Hellmouth's Tentacles are just going to like line up in the forest right here, and then this guy probably going to tuck one in, maybe tuck a second one in, and then put another one behind the building would be my guess. Something like that. Like there's no reason to get aggressive with him right now because the trenchers can just shoot him. You can do big CRAs into him, whereas the trenchers will shoot nothing if you don't put them up there. So no shots is better than not very good shots. So.
Yeah, the one on the bottom in particular, or I guess really both of them, but I mean, David would be just fine if their primary purpose in this game was just contesting zones, and they would be super fantastic at it. And
absolutely,
and they'd be safe.
As these trenchers move forward, right? Like, because they're going to have to, because David will score his zone every turn, his rectangle zone there. every single turn. And if David can stop Jake from scoring every turn, he will eventually win that scenario.
Right.
Right? So the trenchers will have to get in there to contest David's zone. And these Hellmouth tentacles are just going to be so annoying, just popping up and engaging trenchers and stopping them from moving where they want to go and that kind of thing. And as we saw in the last game, David has excellent clock management. He is one of my locals from back in Texas, and whenever we would practice, we would always practice with like 5 to 6 minute timed turns. So just everything we would do is just super duper close. So we do have a measurement coming in. We're checking to see if the Blightbringer aura was indeed affecting the Hellmouth. So, and I know Jake's a very quick player as well. We talked about that earlier. He has the experience to really be able to pilot this list. So I'm excited to see how this goes, and I think this could be one of those games that goes down to turn 7, where both players are playing fast enough to not clock out. So David got his entire deployment done and his entire first turn in less than 7 minutes, which is great.
Pretty fast.
Which is great. So, and I think Jake's probably going to go down on clock here, meaning he will go underneath David because he has actual attacks to resolve and stuff like that, right? Like he's going to get some shooting from the express team, from the trenchers, that kind of stuff.
So if you're not familiar with the LCQ format, this is pretty interesting because we've been talking about this show, this event, yesterday and today. Like this is the finals, but really it's also like the play-in to the playoffs. Like it's a preliminary game to get you into the WARMACHINE Weekend Invitationals.
Yes.
So these guys have already been playing a ton, but they're playing for a spot, like literally the last spot in the WARMACHINE Weekend Invitational.
Yes.
The winner here has a lot more gaming to do.
Yes, they've played 6 rounds so far in this event, and then they will have to play, I think, 5 more in the Invitational. So Haley is not getting shot by this Blightbringer. She's staying outside of 19. The last time I played in an Invitational, actually, I played Haley 3, and I died to the blast damage of a Blightbringer. So that was in Mark 2. But yeah. The trenchers are popping up here. We have a user in chat that is calling both Hellmouths dead by the end of turn 2. We will see about that. I'm not sure about that. That seems a bit aggressive to me. But we'll see. We have it from our table judge that both objectives are supply cache, which is the remove D3 damage.
It's a pretty typical play when you're playing with essentially an objective in your own zone. Makes it a little bit easier to hold because you can heal your stuff that's holding in there.
Yep, and there's not a lot of Pathfinder needed inside of the central area of the map, so that's not surprising to me at all. Looks like trenchers are staying outside of 10. I think our goal here is to not trigger any vengeances and probably trying to kill some tentacles would be my guess. Oh, no, we are shooting him. Does no damage. And we do have vengeance triggered up there. Something has, I guess it was Finn. Finn, who was here and repositioned back, I believe, put some damage on this guy.
See those smoke rings come into play?
Yep. And I think this Blightbringer is just going to start pounding down on these trenchers. And it's probably not going to kill a ton. Like, it'll kill 1 or 2 a turn. But it can definitely shoot through that cloud wall. It has eyeless sight. But a lot of the other things don't. Like the Warmongers, we talked about that, do not have eyeless sight, so they cannot deal with these clouds. So I'm interested to see how David tries to address that.
Boosted shot from the Express team misses at the
Very
top of
sad.
the table.
Very sad. Alexia's going. She's going to wander on up there. These Risen are just going to run. We do have chat talking a lot about the mental state of the players and how they've played 6 rounds already over 2 days and how they're doing. Both of these players are very, very experienced tournament players, so I would imagine they are both doing just fine. Just fine.
And you can see Jake Wellstrup's wearing a Team Canada jersey. Looks like he probably did some jersey trading either today or yesterday.
Or I believe he's a English WTC player as well, so he could have done it there.
Oh.
And we're just kind of piling up in here. So positioning these long gunners is super important because if they don't have to move, you get a ton of value because they get 2 shots each.
Right.
So you want to make sure that when you do position these models, that they don't have to move. It's very, very important. He's moving all of these commandos within 12 inches of the maw. I believe there's the patrol dog there.
And the dog is positioned just outside the forest.
Feign Death is given to the trenchers. Which I'm not quite sure how relevant that'll be, but we'll see.
And Jake ends his turn.
That North unit apparently only took 1 wound on a Warmonger. It's very sad to trigger vengeance like that.
Right,
Like
that's the worst way to trigger vengeance.
Yeah, that's not the way you want that to go. So. We do have a Fog of War up here. And you have Dragon's Blood according to the table judge, but I'm not seeing quite where it is. All right, David's going for it. This unit is just running up here. Looks like Gorag's unit is the one with Draconic Blessing. Not that I think like PAL 15 is needed or like these trenchers are arm 13, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to go above the base PAL of these Warmongers. feel like this positioning is really important for David. If he can, like, I think the trenchers want to make this cloud wall every turn to stop these guys from getting in there. But if he positions a couple of them forward like he's done here and nothing kills them, so like the trenchers have to make the cloud wall again if they want.
Right.
So the trenchers can't do it. So you then have to rely on like the long gunners and things like that. And long gunners, I don't think are a super fan of vengeancing up these guys without killing a substantial amount of them.
Right.
And maybe David stayed outside of the 14-inch range with most of the units. David does use similar notes or similar poses here. So like these two Ogren are one unit, and then this guy's a different pose, so he's a different unit.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. So if you see like this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy are all the same pose. I guess this is actually a unit leader, so it actually might be the same unit, but I don't think so. Looks like these tentacles are going to go wandering around and try and slap them around a couple trenchers. Or at the very least, engage them, right?
Right.
You can't combine range into melee. So that's pretty good. The tentacles are running. They're not attacking. So he's shooting up on the long gunners here. Looks like we're getting 5 total. We got 4 long gunners and a trencher, it looks like. Got 2 dead so far with failed tough checks, 3 dead.
They all died.
So 4 long gunners and a trencher just died, and none of them hit toughs. I don't know if Alexia picked up any corpses. Looks like she got 1 corpse just from the trencher. So I think that's about the greatest that Blightbringer could have hoped to do, right?
Right.
Like maybe you could have missed and drifted and got like 1 more guy, but I think that's exactly what David wants. He got these 4 long gunners, which were really the ones that were threatening this portion of the board. So these guys here, they can aim, they can pick up maybe this guy, but it seems unlikely now that all 4 of these will die to the long gunners. So these trenchers may have to get involved. We also, of course, have Thorn, so like we can get some arcane bolts and that kind of stuff going on in here. So I have no doubt that these guys are going to die, but I think it's going to take a lot more resources from Jake now to kill them. Now that those 4 guys went down there. So yeah.
And then I think the bottom one that you just circled is from a different unit. I think it's from that bottom unit. So if they did that.
Yes, so that will trigger Vengeance here.
Yeah.
And then these 2 are this unit. So David is really, really good at sort of like, hey, kill this model. You want to kill this model because it's annoying. But if you kill it, these guys get Vengeance. And that's why I think this forest wall or this cloud wall is really important. Because if you do pick up these 4 guys, and these guys get to Vengeance in, they might have threat range to charge if you don't have that cloud wall. And that's really, really important. This also would have been a great Blightbringer shot. Like next turn, this
just right on
this
the
right here, because like that would hit 3 guys, so like that's pretty good. So I think Jake's got to be careful about things like that.
So Amok just activated, and he ran up into the zone.
Yep. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff for him to do here.
Now Thagrosh is activating.
That would be a very aggressive placement if he puts him right there behind the Blightbringer. Okay. It's like, don't you measure over there. That seems like you die. Real quick. Discarded down to 3, so he's camping 2. Go Labs just hanging out. Looks like everything there.
That's a turn.
David has another pretty quick turn here. He's at 46 minutes. He spent 14 minutes in his first 2 turns in deployment. Is excellent. Excellent. So this is good to know. We talked about this earlier. These tentacles right here, they can get in the zone. I think this is very important. As we talked about, because of this scenario play, right? At the end of every turn, probably for the rest of the game, David's going to score this zone. So Jake needs to make sure that he can score his zone on his turns and contest on his turns.
Right.
I think that's going to be very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure Jake's going to have things that can contest this zone. So David's going to score it on his turn and Jake's turn, and that's really not what Jake wants to see here.
So we got a hand cannon shot on the Warmonger. The Warmonger that's just towing into that zone.
And apparently missed.
And
This, I think, is also really sad for Jake, right? Like this run right here that engaged this Express team. It's not really where they want to be.
right.
Long Gunners are popping up next. We're checking our line of sights through the forest. We got 3 aims. And we've got Hitch, so these guys can walk through each other.
Okay.
Yep, so these 3 have aimed, moved, and moved.
And then the 2 bottom ones are just towing into that zone.
Yep, these guys are just in there. We got a 3-man combine. This looks like we were within 6 there. We're gonna get a tough check. He passed and was knocked down. The second shot from the aiming gentleman and one that moved combined does kill him. He's got 5 total shots left, 2 aims, and one left. So this guy's shot, this guy's shot, this guy's shot, this guy's shot. These guys have 2 each. This guy's got 1 left. We just declared a 3-man. We've got a tough check. Last 2 shots into the same guy. I think this is not what Jake wanted, right? We talked about efficiency, right?
Right.
So these long gunners just killed 2 warmongers and vengeanced both units.
Right.
Like, that's not what Jake wanted. That's not what Jake wanted. Like, hitting those tough checks, super important. They're talking. David's not following. All right, they figured it out now.
They're all set. There's just some confusion over how many models aimed.
We feel promoted. Both units have vengeance triggered. And the Attrition commandos do indeed have the officer here, so I'm interested to see if this is going to be a mini-feed turn. I think that it is, because I don't think there's going to be much of this unit left next turn if it's not.
Right. Might as well use it.
Yeah. So we've got 2 grenades in the Hellmouth, which I don't think does a whole lot to that Hellmouth. Like,
We're about to find out.
yeah, I'll be very impressed.
So he is using the mini feet.
Yes. These models do have anatomical precision, which is excellent against these little tentacles, because you don't have to roll damage against the impervious flesh.
Right.
Super great. And then they do get quick work with the UA here.
2 damage to the Warmonger. Kills the tentacle.
Quick working again.
No damage on the quick arc shot. Tough check.
He's gone. This looks like we got 2 bombs. So we did indeed mini feed on the tentacles here. Yeah, he's definitely rolling too many dice for damage on the Maw, but the judge is correcting him.
Yeah, he's not doing any damage even with 2 dice.
Yes. There we go. We just got the impervious flesh through. So no damage done to the Maw at all.
So yeah, those shots weren't even capable of doing damage.
Yes.
To the Maw.
That definitely seems like a play mistake from Jake, obviously.
Obviously.
But I think all in all, he's not super upset about how this turned out, right? It does look like these Warmongers are going to be able to kind of get in there, because we've got let's get a top-down view right quick. We can look at this. So like these guys can vengeance this way and then walk, or like vengeance over the wall and vengeance this way. So I think they're going to be able to get 2, maybe 3 of these guys next turn. And there's, I don't know, maybe that many. Some of these are long gunners, right? Those are 2 are long gunners. So I think like these are the commandos. So yeah, there's 7 of them total. But now that I think that mini feat's out of the way, the commandos are not going to have a super easy time dealing with Warmongers.
Right.
Like they're okay. They got POW 12 guns. That's fine. But it's not like with the mini feat they could really like charge, quick work, and do all this kind of stuff that really worked out with the mission objective mini feat. So we've got a shot on the tentacle here. We rolled enough on our 1 dice for the tentacle to die. That looks like it was a trench buster. Here it is. Yep, so the 1 die damage there did not have enough damage to kill the tentacle. Like as I said, I really like this Ironclad in this list, because I think this Ironclad like can do a ton of damage to that Blightbringer if it can get in there.
Right.
Like it won't kill it in 1 round or anything, but combined with some shooting, you can definitely finish off a heavy or a Colossal with this Ironclad. And I think it's just a lot of value in this list. I really, really, really like its inclusion. These Risen are just popping on up there. If I had to guess, we're probably going to get another another thing here. Thrall Warrior popping out there. All right, let's disengage this Express team. Ooh. He rolled a 4, which does hit in the back.
Uh-huh.
Dice off 8 here. Does 6 damage. We got a tough. We do not get a
He
tough.
failed the tough roll.
And that is now all 3 units vengeanced.
But now his Express team is disengaged and can do some shooting.
Correct, yes. Express team will cautious advance again, digging in, which I'm not really sure that's relevant. I'm going to bet there's no range attacks made on that whole half of the board from David here. So. Yep, so we've done 3 damage with our Express team shot, and it is Grievous Wounds, so there will be no tough. No tough. This is the other Thrall Warrior, I believe, is charging. Oh, nope, this is an assault. So this is Finn going in.
The assault shot misses, but the charge attack hits.
Yeah. Kills him. He's got Grievous. Oh, let's do it, Finn. Let's do this killing spree. Oh my god, this could be amazing. Look at this. Look at this, Lyle.
It's very juicy.
It's so tasty. And then he just like stabs that garage for the bad manners. I mean, I don't think he can actually make it all the way down that, but it would be pretty fantastic. He did miss with his killing spree there. Fails to kill. Oh, no. Oh, Lyle.
The dream died before it ever lived.
Oh, no. That is very sad. Very, very sad. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Yep. We're making sure Haley's outside of kill box here. We've got little Haley. Little Haley just wandered on over here. Original Haley. And then I'm not entirely certain where Haley Future is. I think right here, maybe?
I think
there it is.
Yeah, right there.
Yep. So this could be more range attacks coming out here. We got a Flux coming up, which is great. We got a hand cannon into a tentacle going on here. We got the kill. That's great. Absolutely great. So at the end of this turn, it's looking like David is going to score a point, and Jake is going to score a point. We got no damage. So that was a chain blast, so we're scattering our second one here. Going direction 1, 3 inches. We'll definitely get the War Chief. We got a POW 6. No damage dealt with the blast damage. He rolled a 12 for a total of 18 versus the armor 19 on the War Chief. Haley Future is boosting to hit that front Warmonger. And it's boosting damage. I believe it's dice off 5. Did no damage.
Yeah, Jake
that is
is
unfortunate.
lamenting his terrible rolling.
Yes.
That's rough. Someone should order that man some new dice.
We provide dice with
That's
the dice
true.
trays.
He
He
should
chose
be-
not to use them.
Yeah.
They've been rolling hot all weekend.
Right.
So it's really, really, truly a mistake. Turns are going, and I'm betting this cloud wall is coming back up here. Our casualties so far for this turn look like these 3 Warmongers and these maybe 2, maybe 3 more Warmongers right there. So 6 Warmongers for a turn. I don't know if that's enough, man. Jake's also down 10 minutes on David right now.
Yeah, not enough value.
Like, yeah, not enough hashtag value. That was my title, after all. So whereas I think Jake wins this game if he can have all the time in the world, I think he is very quickly running out of time as this goes. So, and as I said, we've got vengeance on all these Warmongers, right? So, like, even though these guys are going to back up, these Warmongers can still get in there. And whereas, like, these trenchers are going to be def 15, which is really good. I mean, you're going to get a lot of Warmonger attacks in there, right? Like, Chad is talking about how after 2 more turns of shooting, all the Warmongers will be dead. That assumes 2 things. 1, the Warmongers will kill nothing, which I don't think is correct. And 2, there will be 2 more turns. Jake is running out of time already, right? Like he's behind the clock. So he might be able to execute 2 more turns, but I'm not sure that he can actually win the game once all of the Warmongers are dead.
Right.
So we will see. Thorn is going to hang out right here. I think next turn is really going to be Jake's make or break turn. I think he's doing fine right now. He's a little behind, nothing major, but yeah, that's kind of my prediction at the moment.
Yeah. So Jake finishes his turn. He scores, I believe, 1.
Yes, I believe both players score 1. Unless something got into the zone.
Yeah, I think they both got their own zone, and that was
Can
it.
we go to the top-down view and try and find us a Signar model inside of the zone?
Ka-chunk.
What is this?
What is that?
That is my question.
Hang on, let's
I
go
think
to this camera.
it's the dog. It's the dog. We're good. Yes.
Yes, the dog.
Yep, the dog right there. Okay, so that stops David. That's going to work for exactly 1 turn. Exactly 1 turn. But, I mean, that's really good, though, right? Like, we were talking about how Jake needs to not lose on this scenario here, and I think that's exactly the kind of plays that need to happen here. It's not going to work later, but it's getting in there. We do have a million vengeances to resolve here. We're going to get some vengeance attacks on this Thrall. Hits and kills him. Nobody else is in Berserk. Ooh, maybe against Finn. Oh, hits him. So Finn will get hit, get killed, hit his tough roll, easy peasy, and get knocked down.
All right, so there's an attempt to walk around the dog here to avoid a free strike.
So we're trying to get back arc on the dog, I think.
Yeah, they say there's no way. So attack on the dog, Met 7.
Kazui Drayson says you cannot vengeance on, or you cannot berserk on vengeance attacks. That's correct. He had 2 different warmongers up there in that north zone, so it was 2 different attacks, not a berserk. So we are within 5 of this guy right here. They are checking to see if Gorag Rotten Eyes -2 defense lets Haley ignore the clouds to see through him. And the answer is yes. She can see through the clouds, so she can see Gorag, so she does get -2 defense. Yes, True Sight is not optional. You can't be like, no, no, and cover your eyes.
Cover your eyes.
I don't want to see. Take that, Haley. Ha! I find that to be an amazing interaction. I love that. David's at 0.
Oh, yeah.
David's trying to figure out what exactly he wants to do with his turn here. People in chat are asking, where has the good boy gone? I believe the good boy was murdered by a bloodthirsty warmonger during a vengeance move.
I mean, he did his job for a turn. He stopped the point from being scored.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think he's going to do a whole lot of other stuff in this matchup, so I think this is great. Like, I think that's exactly what that dog's job was in this game, and he performed admirably. People are asking who went first. David Smith went first, our Legion player here. So this is the top of round 3. David knows he can slow down. He's got a ton of time here. He has the additional turn and is 6.5 minutes up, 6 minutes up on Jake here. So he knows that he can take his time. Looks like I'm going to try and take out some more of these long gunners. Blightbringer's aiming. He is within flux, so he's a 15. We aim to a 7. We need an 8. And he did go to ground, so he's defense 19, I'm sorry.
That's high.
We're deviating to the 6, 1 inch. No blast damage done.
Damage because of dig in.
Absolutely. It is Dragon's Fire again for +2 armor and strength. Because he's just got to resist all this POW 10 and 12 shooting. Which is going okay so far. Like, he's lost about a third of his warmongers. Maybe a little more than that. Gorag's unit is charging here. And the rest of the unit's going to run. And this is where I think this Ironclad and Thorn are really going to start doing work. Because as these guys come up, Thorn and the Ironclad can just start punching them.
Right.
So that's great. And we are getting within 8 of Haley Future here with Gorag to give her -2 defense. This turn, I'm not entirely certain what David's going to try to accomplish. I think it's just sandpaper a little bit. Just slowly start whittling down. I think missing that Blightbringer shot's really sad. I think I may have tried to put it somewhere else. Maybe that's where... maybe that's what's killing Haley. I don't know. The Warmonger just did 12 damage to to the objective. It's an angry Warmonger. I think that's like... What is it? It's dice minus 5 or 6? So, I guess it's 4 or 5. But that's great. Looks like Golab's walking to there. So, Golab walks up, sees the Warmonger, gets excited, then does no damage with his first initial, with Finisher. The second initial, however, will kill it. We're boosting an attack on Haley Future here. He needs a 9 because of Gorag. Looks like he gets it. This is power 13. Killing these echoes is super important because when they are summoned back in, they basically can't do anything. Like they can't activate or do any of that kind of stuff. So, very important. Apparently David rolled 4 dice, but he was not damaged. So we're only 3 dice. All right, still got her. And then he is going to lightning strike all the way back behind that building again. I think that's great. That's I think a big win for David.
Mm-hmm.
A really big win.
So now he's activating the top Hellmouth unit.
Yep. And what that does is it takes out a lot of the flux targets, which I think is great. Those tentacles will miss everything, however. And now our warmongers are going to activate. And they're charging. I'm going to charge here on Finn and a charge here on a trencher. Finn's knocked down, so he's just going to get picked up.
Poor Finn.
Makes the tough check, stopping the Berserk. He will not be killing his own Hellmouth tentacles today. That north zone does look like it's going to be a little hard for David. I think he really wanted to score that point there, though, which he will no longer be able to do because of that tough roll there. So I think this misallocation of the Blightbringer shot here was definitely a play mistake from David. I don't think you would ever really want to shoot that guy when he's gone to ground.
Yeah.
We should have gone for maybe the Ironclad, which would catch Hitch in the blast damage, which would be right here. So like if you shoot this Ironclad, does it catch him in the blast? That's something that I would want to know when I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to shoot. I guess you could shield guard it, so that wouldn't be too bad. But yeah. So there's that. But if we had waited till now to do it, right, like we could shoot a Thorn, we could shoot these guys. Like, I don't know. I think we could have gotten more value out of this Blightbringer shot. I don't think he necessarily had to go first for any reason. Like, I can't think of any reason why he would have wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like these warmongers are wandering up. What is a charge order? So he's just engaging all these commandos up here. Once these commandos do get engaged and they can't charge, they're pound 9. That's not going to be doing a whole lot to these warmongers. And then they can't throw their grenades and stuff, so that's going to be very, very relevant. And there we go. Yep, so I think this Haley is probably coming this way to kill this guy. And probably melee. I guess you could like get really, really ballsy and chain blast him or something and hope not to kill a bunch of your own models. But I think that's going to be a melee thing there. So we did get this guy. We got a Berserk over here. So I think this is pretty good. Pretty good. We got this tentacle and we got this tentacle. Like, this is kind of what I was talking about on this flank, because a lot of the stuff's just going to get engaged up, and then it'll just sit there for a while. And whereas these trenchers are def 13, so warmongers don't hit them super easy, and they're tough, so they don't berserk super easy, this is probably going to turn into a weird fest, like of just kind of hanging around and sitting. So these tentacles, however, they're going to have a bad day against these anatomical precision knives. So... First tentacle missed, second tentacle hits and fails the tough check.
So it looks like David's going to score 2 on this round and go up a little bit on CP.
How's he going to score 2? Oh, we got the objective. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So we can actually add that in now, because he does score that immediately when he destroys it. Just the one at the moment. Agrosh is chilling. He's not doing anything. I think if David had, if that trencher in the top zone had not toughed, David would be in a fantastic spot right now. He will end his turn and go to 2 points. Being at 3 points this turn would be a lot of pressure on Jake, I think.
Yeah.
So that tough check was really, really great for Jake. One little Risen's going to pop out of Alexia there. Boop. Express team's going. We get a crit knockdown. I'm guessing it's on that Warmonger back there. Power 10 fails to break armor and do the last point of damage. The Express gun doing 1 damage. He's got 1 wound left, and he is grievously wounded, so he's going to be a sad boy here in a moment, I think. We're checking our Ragman here. Looks like we're going to get some Risen attacks. We do have to push this Warmonger. Our table judge caught him. The Thunderbolt was not optional on that, is what that just was. Another Thrall Warrior is going to pop out there. We got a power 11 from these Risen. Looks like it does no damage. And the Thrall Warrior will run. We're trying to get into the zones. We're trying to avoid a free strike from both Golab and that Warmonger.
It's a narrow little window to go through.
It's a teeny little window. Looks like we're going to replace Golab with a proxy base. All right, so we're not going to run this Thrall Warrior because he can't quite make it through at the moment. Charging through these lovely trenchers, this Trench Buster is going to show this guy why you don't mess with the Signar army. Who scored a hit? Pow 14 with flank. Kabang! Tough check. They're checking damage. It was apparently a very low roll. They got him. Just barely. Yeah, so no corpse because Alexia's or Golab's gonna eat him. Nom 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 nom. I like this little Hellmouth right here. Just looks like he's got a little face. Like his little mouth, his little eyes. He's so angry.
Got some charges at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, let's leave this down for just a moment. Get a charge, it'll hit. It's power 9. Does 1 damage with anatomical because his roll's low. These poor commandos. Tentacles down. We've got the quick work. We missed all of our quick works there after killing the tentacles here. We've got Vengeance on these 3 Warmongers down here. Hitch is walking on over. Giving rerolls to the few remaining long gunners. I think there's 6 left, maybe 7. He was engaged on the tentacle, so it misses, and he misses the trencher as well. Long gunners are going to go. We are checking line of sight. Looks like the answer is yes. We do have line of sight. All 3 of those long gunners are going to aim. The officer will in as well. 5-man combined attack on that Warmonger. Hits him. It is dice off 3. He's re-rolling his damage. Kills him. He is not tough. We're going to field promote across the way there. So no concealment, but he is shooting into melee here. He's going for it. He scored a hit. This is just one guy doing this. Does 1 damage. Haha, he rerolled it into 2 damage. I always love when that happens. We did the 4-man combined attack here on the Warmonger there in the middle. They scored a hit. And David hits the tough check there. Let's go to a top down and see what's going on behind this building. He scattered a cinder bomb, I believe, from one of these trench busters, which killed his own guy and could not damage the tentacle with blast damage. Thorn's going. Towing the zone. And looks like he's trying to kill this tentacle here. Thorn killed a Warmonger, and he failed his tough check. He will field promote the last Warmonger of that unit up there. He's got Vengeance, but he's knocked down. Jake is checking to make sure that he can get in through, because now that Warmonger's knocked down because he made a tough check.
Mm-hmm.
So we should not have an issue getting into the zone. We're getting a charge in there.
And he charges into the zone.
Dice off 12 is no damage. And all 3 units are now vengeanced. Well, have been vengeanced. They're not now vengeanced. Haley's going to put future Haley back in. Haley passed is supposed to be in that zone per declaration, but she is actually not at the moment. Tony, yeah. Okay,
now he is.
moved
There
her.
we go.
Got it. Great. Yep. Not moving, so definitely still outside the kill box. Casted Flux. Good to go. Yep. And this is a Weapon Master shot here. Dice off 8. Does 13. Fails the tough check. The trenchers are now going. staying in melee with the tentacle there. And then it looks like we're going to form another cloud wall. I'm not sure these cloud walls are really going to be able to hold them down for too much longer. This middle unit with Gorag here is really, really pressing forward. This Vengeance is going to be really good. One of them can move and kill that Thrall Warrior. They get a couple inches out of this. I don't think they're going to get a ton. Like I guess the War Chief actually is really what I would be worried about. Well, he doesn't get the Vengeance, so maybe not. I think that Thrall Warrior is being a champion.
That's the end of Jake's turn.
That's the end of Jake. Jake will score 1. David will not. Thank you, Thrall Warrior. Maintenance phase, we're going to pop out a Tentacle. Like, I feel like if the Blightbringer had been focusing on these trenchers, and this Cloud Wall was shrinking, that would be great right now. But I don't know. I mean, the Long Gunners are doing a lot of work, too. So if we had killed 1 or 2 trenchers last turn, I'd be really, really happy right now. Golab picked up that guy in the middle there. So let's do some vengeances. Here we go.
Back
We got the
Archivist
back
Commando.
Yep. Hits kills, passes the tough.
The other one just misses.
Everybody's just missing everything this game. There's been a lot of fails to break armor out of Jake and a lot of misses out of David. Looks like we're going to get 3 Vengeance attacks on the Thrall Warrior here. The first one will kill him. So we got a Risen down from the Warmonger Vengeance up in the top zone, which stood up because of Amok. So this does seem like some good Vengeance action right here, or some good Berserk action. We'll pick up 3 Risen there. I mean, this is the champion of his people, the last of his kind, with his unit there. I think this is a walk, maybe kill 2. If this Tentacle gets out of the way, Golab might be able to hop over the building. We'll see. I think Jake's almost certainly winning this on attrition at the moment, but I'm still worried about this clock. Like, I'm still really worried about this clock. Oh, you decided to go after the Express team, not the Risen. We've hit the main gun.
Forces a tough, and the tough fails.
Yep, forces a tough check, fail the tough check. Berserks into the normal little guy. He will also fail his tough check. 2 down. That's pretty good, too. That's probably better than 3 Risen.
Yeah.
Probably way better. So David's checking his GoLab walk threat range just to get into that cloud. It looks like he can get the Trench Buster and one of these trenchers, just these two models right here. That's what David just checked. I'm interested to know if this is 7 inches. Like, can we get to this guy and this guy with this Warmonger? Maybe try and get a 2-for-1. GoLab picks up these two. I think if that goes down, that's like a great turn for David, honestly. I think this is just like a super grindy game. And that's fantastic. All right. They are taking a bathroom break. Jake has to go to the restroom, and we are leaving the clocks paused. All right, Lyle. Time for wild speculation. Who do you think is going to win?
It's really tough to say, but I think right now Jake's probably in slightly better position. Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, he's losing on clock a little bit, but I think he can handle the clock situation. Mm-hmm. I've watched him play a couple of games on the stream, and he's cool-headed. He doesn't get flustered, and I don't think the clock's going to get to him. So slight advantage to me goes to Jake and Haley 3.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay. I think, honestly, probably the only way that he does lose is this clock. So I think if he can manage that clock, he will be fine. But I think David is doing a fantastic job of not overcommitting into things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been like a thing I've been talking about a lot this show, is like overcommitment and how to place models so that you lose as few as possible. And I think David's been doing a great job with that. You see it with his Warmonger placements towards the center of the map.
Right.
You see it on like the south zone down there. He only lost a couple on that first turn. That was able to get him a vengeance. He was able to pick up 2 or 3 trenchers, and he was really to engage them all, which means that his Warmonger is now pretty safe down there.
Right.
So I think David's doing a really good job of mitigating the attrition value of Jake. Jake is still up just a little bit on him, though. Mm-hmm. So as this game continues, we'll see how it goes. It looks like Jake is coming back, so let's see what happens. We're started back up again, and here we go.
I mean, if that Blightbringer drops another hot shot, like the first round.
Right. Like, all right, GoLab's coming up. Looks like he's going to try and get him a trencher and a trench buster. And the trench busters are really durable. Like, those guys are not just like normal infantry dudes. So we're starting with the trencher here. We're just hitting him with a normal claw. Easily hits. So we missed a beak on the trench buster there. He decided not to boost and then missed. Well done. Mm-hmm. He's taking a free strike. He's sprinting right on back. Looks like a 19 total damage, total roll, so just a couple damage. That heavy war beast killed a trencher, and I think David's happy about it. So here we go. The Warmongers are coming in. Gorag is once again using this Future Sight against these Haleys. Mm-hmm. Or, sorry, not Future Sight, True Sight, to apply -2 defense. He misses his attacks with his Warmonger there. Warmongers are moving to get as many in their melee as they can, and they're going to start chopping. That guy's going to chop the knockdown guy. Don't have to roll to hit. No more tough. Just picks him up easy peasy. We've got some Berserk here. Dice +1 on the UA. Does not tough. So he does hit the tough roll there. And there we go. Is this Blightbringer going in? Oh my god, that would be amazing. He goes in and punches little Haley.
Oh my.
Happening. We're committing our Blightbringer. This is the time for this Ironclad to shine. It doesn't have Pathfinder, but we do have access to Ghost Walk here. So it looks like one Trench Buster will be in charge range. Yeah, shit definitely just got real. Thank you, chat. This Blightbringer's going in. It's going to be exciting. I don't think I've ever seen David charge with this thing yet. At least not until the game was like super duper low. But I do think killing this Haley right here is really important. Really, really important. It really neuters the feat turn for Haley 3 if you can kill one of these every turn. And then, of course, as we talked about earlier with future Haley, when they are destroyed, they can't come in and do anything. So very, very important to be able to do things like this. We are going to charge. We're doing Withering Ash for -2 defense. I think that loss of that 2 more armor is probably not something David wants. I think that's very sad. Now these POW 10 and 12 shots are really going to start damaging these Warmongers and shut them up really, really quick. Yep. She's just going down. We're not even rolling damage dice, apparently. Haley Future down. So we can definitely, let's go to top down and see what we think we can get on this Blightbringer to see if it dies, right? So we've got this Trench Buster, this was in, this one is out. We can get this Ironclad. It might be able to go this way, but it can definitely get a Ghost Walk from Future Haley and just go this way if that's out of range. We'll get a 5-man CRA twice, so that's 2 PAL 15s. That's pretty good. Does a Trench Buster and a Ironclad plus like a Trencher, I guess. Kill this thing. I don't know. I think it's probably close. So Thag just discarded Ran, and looks like if this Ironclad comes in, his plan is to charge him with Thag Rush. That's what he was just measuring there. It's aggressive, and I like it.
I love it.
I like it. We're seeing how these tentacles go. This tentacle's going to engage here. Oh, and they're checking melee ranges here to make sure there's no free strikes. Yep, they're in command. So we've got melee range here, good to go. He hits. The question is, do you think he's going to pull him? Which definitely pulls him out of range of this guy.
I don't know.
So it looks like yes. All right, that's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
I like that play. I like that play. Now we've got an Ironclad and some PAL 15s. I'm not sure there's a lot else that can really get on this Blightbringer. So we very well might live. If little Haley would have survived, that would have been a lot of damage coming out of that, but I'm not really sure. Ragman, I think, is way up north as well. Oh, actually, this might be Ragman right here. If that's Ragman right there, let's see if we can get a side view and see if we can pick out this Ragman. I think this is Ragman's hand. So that very well might be within Ragman distance for the Blightbringer. And if it is, that's going to make this a whole lot more scary. a whole lot more scary. Long gunners will put a pretty solid amount of damage onto him, especially if you can get into Ragman there, and then of course the Ironclad will do a good chunk as well. If he kills it, maybe? I don't know. Looks like David just ended his turn, scoring 1. And definitely contested up Jake's zone there. So David Smith is going to 3 control points. And we are now into the bottom of round 4. So 2 on the Ironclad. Looks like he's definitely coming in. We're dropping Tactical Supremacy. I would guess we're going to feat this turn with Haley 3, because I think we're just getting tired of waiting. But we'll see. We got 3 Risen coming out of Alexia. I think that Hellmouth just kind of has that top zone like completely locked down. Like I don't think anything up there is really killing it.
Right.
So I don't think David needs to worry too much about Jake scoring any points up there to kind of get ahead on scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that Warmonger up there is almost certainly dead. Here's our Ragman. That was him. He's coming up there in death fielding, so we're not going to have a Ragman on the Blightbringer. Hitch is charging. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Leading from the front like a true Hitch. He's connected.
So 4 off on this roll.
Got a
Forces
tough
a
check.
tough check.
He's
And he
tough.
passes.
I don't think that's a particularly relevant tough check. And we've got rerolls on the long gunners as an anytime ability. All the long gunners, except for 1, are aiming. We're doing a 2-man combine into the knockdown Warmonger. Kills him, no tough check. And then a 5-man onto the big guy. This is dice off 4. Does 2 damage. Does 2 more. So 4 damage out of the long gunners there. I don't think that's what Jake was looking for. I think he wanted more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ragman not being able to get in there I think was very, very relevant. Looks like Haley's moving forward. We're not going to have a Cloud Wall this turn, so Jake is now very concerned about Golab's charging threat range. David has done an excellent job of playing Golab with this house. He's always had cover, so he's been very difficult to shoot. So we'll see how this pans out. And how like, he hasn't killed a whole lot of stuff. I think he's killed, like, a Trencher and some Risen or something.
Right.
Like, I don't remember what he killed before he killed the Trencher. But I think he's been applying pressure with him, right? So, like, anything that goes over there has to be able to deal with Golab. So we did indeed get a Ghost Walk onto the Ironclad there. And then we're taking a boosted shot at Golab. We've hit him. And no damage done. Sorry, that was at Gorag, not Golab. Confusing.
Yeah.
Looks like our Trenchers are charging. Trenchers go! There are people in chat talking about line of sight blocking terrain in the center of the board. The Steamroller packet says that 2 out of every 3 tables should have that, not every table. And even then, I'm pretty sure that that building is close enough to the center for Steamroller stuff. One charge attack on Gorag is hit. He's effectively armor 20 because you're within Thag's field of death. He did 2 damage. And we had 1 charge on the Blightbringer here. Does no damage. The Buster's going to get in there on Golab. Try and show him what's for. Buster's Mat 9 against Golab there because of flank. So effective arm 19. Did no damage apparently on the first one. Second attack with the shield. Does 5 damage with the second attack.
So Alexia is activating and advancing. It's good.
It's going to be an infinite battle of tentacles versus Risen.
They keep coming back.
I like that the tentacle pops out, gets killed, turns into a Risen. And then it pops out, kills a Risen, gets killed, turns into a Risen. It's fantastic. These Risen are just going to start dogpiling on the tentacles. It's okay, he gets more Risen every turn than David does tentacles. So. We're making a Thrall. Looks like that Thrall's going to try and be a champion and take on a Hellmouth.
Hits.
Successfully kills a tentacle.
Kills a tentacle.
With a 4 or 5 man. The other Risen CMA fails to kill. Yep. Jake tries to activate Ragman again. David reminds him he's already gone. That could be a result of mental fatigue coming in here.
Transbuster's aiming and shooting at the tentacle.
Effectively Rat 10. Shoots him with an AoE. It's going to kill the tentacle. We've killed one of the Risen so far, and just one of the Risen is going to die. We do have to pull the Risen that was killed, though. Tony, if you could remind them to remove the Risen that was just killed by the blast damage, and check and make sure that it was killed by the blast damage. Thank you. Thorn's coming in the middle here. I think Thorn's planning for next turn, so if this Ironclad goes in, doesn't kill the Blightbringer, which seems... I mean, it seems pretty unlikely that Blightbringer dies to an Ironclad, I think. And I'm... Have the Commandos already gone? Do you remember? I know the Long Gunners have. I'm not sure. But even then, I think there's only 1 or 2 left down there. And only one of them that's unengaged.
Yeah, I think they haven't gone yet.
Yeah. So I really like this Ghost Walk play, and I like it because now Thagrosh cannot get to that Ironclad. Right? Yep, so we're outside of 10, and our one little trencher was in the way, so we're putting him back. So we will not have the -2. First charge attack does 9 damage to the 4. Does dice off 5 for the fist. Does 4 more.
Spy and a hammer attack. It hits. Does 8 damage. Another hammer attack. Seven to the 4 for that last hit.
Jake ends his turn scoring 1 point. Center unit here is going to get vengeances. Venjai?
Vengeances.
Vengeances. And as we said, these tentacles just popping into that zone over there, in the Jake zone. That's what's keeping David in this game right now. And these Thrall Warriors running from Alexia, definitely keeping Jake still in the game here. Our vengeances are just going off on some trenchers here. We've got the one that's giving flank versus Golab. It's a failed tough check. And we're field promoting over by the Blightbringer. Now we're resolving the second Hellmouth's Tentacle for that southern zone. Chat is asking, if you look in the bottom left, it has which round it is of the game. So it is the top of turn 5. All of our vengeances and maintenance effects have been completed by David. He's now moving into his normal turn. Oh, it appears that David has forgotten to leech. They are checking rules resolution on that. Leeching is optional, so if you do forget to do it, your opponent can force you to take frenzy checks. It looks like Jake is not going to let him leech, so we're going to do some frenzy checks. Oh, no, we are going to leech. I'm not sure the resolution here. Okay, it looks like we did allow the leech.
Yeah, I think Jake let it go.
Yep. Good man, Jake. Good man, Jake.
I think maybe he just did a rules check to make him sweat a little bit.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Chat is asking if no quarter has already been used. No quarter has not been used. The leeching was allowed and both spells were upkept, so we still have Fog of War as well as Draconic Blessing. pausing the clock to confirm a measurement. Tentacle's trying to stay in the zone. We're checking to see if he's within flux. He is outside of flux from future Haley. Chad is asking, where is Draconic Blessing? It is indeed on Gorag's unit. Looks like he's doing 2 damage, which is going to give finisher to Golab.
Now Golab's activating.
Yep. Golab's now activating, and it's going to try and eat this guy. Misses his first attack. Claw the little guy. Missed that guy too. We'll hit the little guy now.
Buying a bite on the Buster over here.
It does look like David is forgetting that he gets to heal for Carrion Feast.
Three points of damage to the Trench Buster. And another bite attack does 3 more damage.
Second bite attack kills him. Here we go. Now he remembered to heal. He's healing for 5. And we are going to lightning strike. Getting aggressive here. Thagrosh is probably looking to make Jake spend time killing this guy with Thorn or Alexia or something, and then he'll just feed him right back next turn. So I think this is a pretty exciting and interesting play. Looks like Gorag's going. He's charging Ragman here with Gorag. And we're checking it out. We're getting a proxy base out. And the other Warmonger is charging Haley. Exciting. There's a power 16 charge here. This should easy peasy Ragman. I don't think he can actually survive. They're doing mat calculations. Gorag is effectively mat 10. Looks like he rolled Snake Eyes there. Charge attack coming from the other guy. The next guy is mat 11.
Mat 11.
Will hit. And it is power 16. It's going to be very sad when this guy kills Gorag. I was following you. We've hit Hitch. Hitch will pass tough. Oh, nope. Entropic Force. And then you can stop berserking. That's so nice. Is it Gorag that gives that, or is that the War Chief? It is the War Chief that does that. I didn't think that was on Gorag. Thagrosh is charging. This is exciting. This is a lightning strike play, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So now it looks like the clocks are turning here. David is now spending a lot of time doing stuff here, and there's not a lot of time left in this game.
Nope.
So I think Jake has done a fantastic job managing his clock thus far.
It's unflappable.
Unflappable. He's using a free Animus to gain Lightning Strike, and then putting Draconic Blessing over onto the Blightbringer. He's just going to pop back just a little bit, making sure that he's keeping that Blightbringer covered by this stiff. Blightbringer's up next. And he's going to start swinging with his little Pokebits. Bloop, 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 bloop,
His first
bloop.
attack hits.
First hit does 9 damage to 6.
The 9 to the 1. There's 2 boxes left. And he's dead.
Kaboom! The Hellmouth is going next. Tentacle's just going to poke a knockdown guy. War Chief is going. Looks like he's just running. Oh, David is forgetting about this Thrall Warrior up here. That was Amok's job. So David's not going to score on his zone. Which is very bad. He's going to go down on scenario, looking down at 7.
Oof.
Oof. David just noticed that after he moved there. Lexi is going to put down 2 Risen. Bloop, bloop. No upkeeps from Haley. $22 boxes left on the Blightbringer. That is I think, a very large mistake from David.
Yeah.
Not clearing that zone. Like, I think that is a huge deal. Huge, huge, huge deal. I think he needed to really keep that advantage because they were even, right?
Right.
Except David had killed the objective, so he was up 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're even, and Jake still has an objective to kill.
Yeah.
David's no longer up, so that's a really big deal.
And you hate to see that kind of like an oversight like that in a play like that has
Yes.
such a big impact in the game. But at the same time, when there's so much pressure and there's so much going on in a big tournament event like this, where you're racing the clock and your opponent, like those kind of things happen sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got 3 aims, 1 advance, and then 3 of them that are engaged in the zone there. We've got a 4-man combine on the War Chief. This is POW 14, off 5. Ooh. Does 6 damage on the first one. Kills him. He'll make a tough check. He is still knocked down. Thorn's now going to go. I'm not sure how we're planning to kill Golab here. He's taking a little bit of damage, maybe 4 or 5, because he healed a little bit there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think if Jake has a problem... Well, I mean, I guess David not scoring, right? I think David not scoring gave Jake a little bit of, like, wiggle room, right? Like, he doesn't necessarily have to score his now. So... Gorag will take 4 points. Buying into the War Chief will kill him. Gorag goes down, fills the tough check.
So Thorn's getting some good work in here.
Oh, yeah. He's been waiting all game for this. All game.
It's his moment.
We were checking Blightbringer range. He's out of range. Looks like he's going down. Yeah, okay, so Lexi is coming in for Golab. We're committing this now. Charging Golab. We got a couple of Risen runs. And everybody's in command. We're boosting the initial here. So we're checking to see if Alexia... okay, so Alexia's rule does remove Risen. So they're currently checking the Alexia wording to see when she sacrifices Risen in her unit to purchase attacks and boosts and stuff, if Golab can eat them and heal, basically. And I'm pretty sure the answer is no, it does not destroy. So the wording is that it just removes a grunt, which is not destroy or remove from play. It's remove. Yep. The judges are talking here. There we go. So Golab will not heal when Alexia spins Risen.
Probably want to set the camera.
And here we go. We're back in. We boosted it. We boosted damage. Does 6 damage to the 1. Oh, if Alexia doesn't kill this Golab, this is going to be hugely sad for Jake. I think he really needs to score this point. Like, he doesn't have to score it like, I'm going to lose or whatever. He has to score it like, I need to start getting ahead because turn 7's coming.
Right.
Now that she's running out of Risen here.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say either player is like really in clock danger, but there's definitely like you need to play clean and smart from here on out.
Yes, yeah. Not needless attacks. None of that stuff. Golab will survive Alexia. We're charging with a Trenchbuster that will not have flank. And here we go. Mat 7 on Golab. He'll miss with the charge attack. And I think the shield is hitting the tentacle. It is POW 12. It does not kill the tentacle.
Wow.
Oh, it's so annoying. I love how annoying Hellmouths are.
I don't think everyone would agree with you.
I actually know that everyone does not agree with me. Lyle.
I love Hellmouths. I think they're great.
Yep. There we go. I think failing to kill Golab here put Jake on the back foot, and I think it's kind of flustered him a little.
Mm-hmm.
So little Haley's coming in. Past Haley. She's advancing. We're staying in command. Putting future back into play.
And Jake is feeding now.
Yes. And we're casting Flux as well. 6 focus on little Haley here. She probably doesn't have a problem picking up this this Blightbringer. He's got, I think, 22 hit points left is what we said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But Jake is not happy with that roll. He did no
Jake
damage.
is scolding himself.
Yes. So he is in the death field from Thagrosh here. Does 3 damage to the 1. This is by an attack boost damage, so he gets, what is this? 3 of these? Yeah, this is not enough. Did nothing again. Ooh. Lyle, it's all falling down. It's all falling down, Lyle. That is the end of Jake's turn. Nobody scores any points.
Yeah, I think you're right. When things didn't go his way on Golab, it really kind of got in his head a little bit.
I think he tilted just a little bit right there. We got 1 tentacle on the top zone, 1 tentacle on the bottom zone. Top of turn 6. Do you think David's going to be able to score this bottom zone? It doesn't look like Haley quite made it in, past Haley. So he's just got a couple trenchers to clean up. No vengeance triggered on those Ogren down there.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like it's literally just 2 trenchers, right? Or 3?
I think it's 3 trenchers, 4 actually.
4.
Because there's this guy down here.
Oh yeah.
Right. So this guy's Withering Ashed, so -2 death, and he's just going to wander. So it looks like he's going to try and kill this, spend the rest of his fury killing these, if he can. Whatever he doesn't kill, these guys try and clean up. This guy cleans up this guy down here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think David's going to try. Hopefully he kills this guy. My God. This
right.
would be
Don't forget about that guy.
A literal disaster if David forgets about him again. Because if David can score 1 point, 2 point, I think that's really good for him.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I mean, this, oh, hold on here. This is too risen for a 3rd point. Oh, man. That is so good. Man, that's good. Do you think there's any way you can kill these? I mean, his tentacle can poke 1.
Yeah, I don't know if he can get the second one unless he doesn't get the guy that's in his near zone.
Well, he's already committed the tentacle here, right? So, like, this guy doesn't do anything.
Oh.
So I think Thagrosh is going to, like, come back here and spell him or something. Like, I don't know. This is champion of the game. this man right here. So the Withering Ash is going in here. All right, so we hit our first one there. We miss our second on the Berserk. And we're moving up our tentacles. All right, the tentacles will take down the trencher. So it looks like we're going to score that zone. That's huge. Thagrosh is activating Healing Golab. Ooh. We're just spending 1 on Golab to heal the aspects there. Looks like he's going to walk back. We're boosting a spray at the Thrall Warrior here. Ooh, don't miss it. Oh, we missed. He rolled a 5. Oh. Lyle, the champion of the game. He gets a little crown for this. This is like his tiny little Thrall crown. Much like that Drake from earlier today. He's the champion of this game. Oh, my gosh. Roll a 5 to miss. Super sad. Yes, he did boost that. Tentacles are going first. Golab is going first, sorry. He's boosting damage on Alexia. He's just letting her go, which I think is a great call. If you pick up any of those Risen, horrible things happen. Second initial on the Buster. We've already hit. Looks like we're going to boost damage. POW 13 versus, I think, armor 17 on these guys with the shield. It's pretty good. Does 8, which hits him with the tough. He's going to eat him. Golub's going to sprint, and he's getting out of the way of that tentacle. And I think the tentacles are going to try and kill those Risen. The tentacles we deserve. Here we go. Hits and kills one. The farther one hits and kills him
Got
too.
him
So
both.
David will score both of those.
So 2 points for David.
David ends his turn going to 5, scoring both sets. This is going to come right down to the wire here, Lyle. I mean, actually, not really. Like, David has 2 minutes left, but he's only got one more turn.
Right.
So, we did talk about this at the beginning. This is going to be a really grindy game that probably ends up at turn 7. So, here we go.
Bailey cast Distortion.
Yep. So what is Jake's play here, right? David just went up 2 points. Does 8 damage to the 5 with Haley Future, buying a shot, boosting to hit. Hits him. Does 2 damage to the 1. Regular Haley is shooting, boosting damage. Does a bunch of damage and picks him up.
So Golab's dead.
So that'll be 1 point for Jake. If he can pick up the objective, that'll tie him up. Thorn is going to run into that top zone, so that's going to stop David from scoring again there, which I think is very important.
Right.
Very, very important. And then I guess these long gunners have to try and tie up this bottom zone. Like, there's not a lot of models left. So they're advancing. They're running into the zone. So I think David's just really going to be able... Does 6 damage with the Thrall Warrior. And he ended his turn. David is up. This is the top of turn 7. Jake will score 1 point.
You could tell Jake was feeling the pressure that turn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's getting a little shaky, and I think he's rightfully so. I think David has 2 minutes to score this bottom zone and kill that Thrall Warrior. He'll score 2 more points, going to 7. I don't think Jake can really... I mean, he needs to contest Jake's zone as well, right? David has 1 minute and 20 seconds. He's going to take that to think about it. This is going to come right down to the wire here, Lyle. Right down to the wire.
David's down to 1 minute left on his clock.
If I was David, I wouldn't even attack this Risen. This Risen doesn't matter at all. That just takes time. We're starting off with the Blightbringer here. First guy dies. Second guy misses.
So the
We're burning through all of our fury here.
Dagrosh feats, brings
Feats
back
back in
Golab.
Golab. Can we get the Golab model on the table? What's the sound of this turn?
We're down to 12 seconds. 10, 11.
Oh, don't.
8, 7. Does he not realize how much time is left on his clock?
Oh, no. No, David.
Oh, my goodness.
The saddest way to end the game. David Smith has run out of time. Passed it over to Jake there. In a truly unfortunate way. But that game was definitely in the bag. David would end his turn, go to 7 points, and Jake would lose the game. If you remember, Lyle.
Unbelievable way for that game to end.
You remember, Lyle, I said, don't attack that Risen in the corner.
You did. You said.
He legitimately needed 1 or 2 seconds left to win this game. And that is it. That is all that it took.
Congratulations to Jake, though. Heck of a win into War Machine Weekend Invitational.
Absolutely.
And now he gets to play another round and hopefully several more to come.
The players have decided not to shake hands. They're going to hug it out instead. And
good sportsmanship. Good for them.
There it is. Well done, man. Well done, men.
What a game. What a game. Crazy.
6 rounds. Both players super frazzled. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
What a grind. Huge grind.
Absolutely.
But again, congratulations to Jake. Heck of a game by him. And heck of a game by David as well.
Yeah, I mean, in that intermission we had in the middle, right? Like we both called it for Jake on attrition, when really it was David on attrition.
Right.
Like he really pulled that out. I think there were some crucial misses from Jake, like leaving Golab alive on that second time he went out on him. Like was a huge deal, right? That let him kill Alexia as well as the Trench Buster, so I think that was huge. And then that really let David kind of set the tempo of the game from there on, right? Like, and then David being able to score those 2 points there at the end, great. If he had killed that Thrall Warrior, like if he hadn't forgotten about it, we talked about how that was a possibly game-losing mistake. He could have just ended his turn, basically, here, right? Like he clears the 1 zone, he gets it, he scores up to 4 points above Jake. Jake can't possibly come back from that.
Yeah.
So he can just end his turn. He doesn't have to spend all that time clearing those zones and stuff. So, little mistakes, big outcomes at really high-end War Machine. So well done. Well done. I believe this is our last round for the day.
No, we actually have...
Well, in terms of the tournament.
In terms of the tournament, yes.
But we do have a very silly staff game planned next, which is guaranteed to be incredible.
Yep, so we got...
William Hungerford, one of the developers of Privateer Press, is going to play Tim Simpson, the Nuke Scalpel. A staff member plays him every day.
And that's our last game for today after that.
Yep.
And then tomorrow we've got 3 rounds of War Machine Weekend Invitational.
Absolutely.
So come back for one more game, and then we'll do some more tomorrow. You guys, take it easy.